shave another off the magic number. Welcome to the Nationals' home away from home at Citi Field in Flushing, New York. The Nats have just dominated here. Yeah, we get some support on the road, and that's always fantastic. But between the lines, the Nationals have been absolutely unbeatable in this ballpark. Way back in the 60s, the old song used to say, "Meet the Mets, come on out and greet the Mets." Well, for the Nats, it's beat the Mets. Almost unprecedented success against this ball club. So when you look at what teams do on the road against others, the Mets at the Diamondbacks, 13 in a row, overtime, Phillies in San Diego, the Nationals right here, and then some others figure in. So this current streak, NFP, you've been part of things like this before. Maybe you're on the top end, maybe you're not. It becomes almost an expected thing when you take the field.
I mean, it's been total domination. When you talk about the home runs in this 12-game win streak, 31 home runs for the Nationals, just 6 for the Mets. And they're talking about moving the fences in next year. The Nats haven't need the fences moved in, and they enjoy playing here. They're playing for home field advantage right now with the best record, and they can say that this might be their home field with the way they've owned the Mets.
Yeah, well, those games will be in D.C., so don't worry, even though they've been so great here. When you've got Adam LaRoche on your team, on the road or at home, things are going to happen. This guy is really swinging the bat great.
He has 1 RBI every 5 at-bats. That's 3rd in the National League, and it all started in Los Angeles when he came off the bench sick. The legendary story, 2 for 2, all the RBIs, the big hits against the Dodgers. Everybody approves, and it was just what heroes are made of, really, when you talk about baseball status. And the last 6 games for Adam LaRoche, absolutely, positively locked in. 348 average, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 739 slugging percentage, and who knows where that home run last night would have landed if the foul pole didn't get in the way.
And Adam told me after the game last night, he just feels relaxed. It's hard to explain how he feels at the plate right now. Taking the pitches where they come in, inside he pulls, and he had that opposite field RBI hit last night as well. So it's game number 146. The end is in sight, but a lot of work to do. By the way, the Braves are in Texas this weekend.
Well, yeah, you have to look at that as 3 wins for the Braves. Who knows what happens tonight, but take care of your business here. Take care of the Mets like you have been. Don't let them up for air, and I think scoring first, very important tonight.
So in these last 2 weeks of the season, you're looking for all the help you can get on the road. Yeah, everywhere the Nationals go, people are jumping on the bandwagon. 21 games over 500, 5 over on the road. Game 2 straight ahead. right outside Citi Field. And right where Shea used to be center field, this is pretty much home plate. Citi Field is where the Nats have been so comfortable this year. 12 in a row, 26 of the last 30, unbelievably. So our crew stepping off the train just in time to show you Gio highlights from his last two starts, wins against the Dodgers and against the Phillies.
You know, his arm angle's been better. He's getting it up top more, and you see the curveball is acting like the old Gio Gonzalez curveball, and the fastball has been good. It was up percentage-wise last time to 72%, so he had a lot of confidence in the fastball last time out, but his 3.4 runs of offensive support is the lowest amongst all National starters, and if he qualified, would rank 7th last in the National League, so he's pitched well enough to get some more wins. He needs some help from his offense tonight.
There's been plenty of that, and against Dylan G, interesting. He won 6 of his first 7 career starts against the Nationals with a 2.57 ERA. Lately roughed up to the tune of just under 5 runs a game.
Well, he'll let you know early if the sinking and the changeup is good. Those are his 2 best pitches. He'll mix in a knuckle curve too, and yeah, it seems like they figured him out, and Gio could use some runs off him tonight.
Dylan G's given up 17 home runs this year. He's allowed 10 in his last 5 starts against the Nats after allowing just 5 in his first 9. So the Nationals on the road this year, one of the great long ball hitting clubs in baseball. We've got some numbers for you later tonight to back that up. Right now, let's not back up. Let's go right into game 2. First pitch in a moment. Brought to you by PNC Bank for the Achiever in You, and by New York Life and the agent of the game. It has been one of the most beautiful days we have ever seen in New York City. Mid-70s, sunny all day, little breeze blowing, gorgeous. Red ball cap on that young man. Can't wait to see the Nats starting lineup. That comes your way right after we check our conditions. Visit trainsearch.com. Find your local train comfort specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. So it's 72 degrees here. Humidity way down, and look at that sunset looking out west. Anthony Rendon in the number 3 spot tonight. Jason Worth has the flu, so Cabrera's second. Another 3-hit game for Rendon last night. Now he's at 19 home runs. Next RBI will be number 80, and that would give the Nationals 380 RBI guys in their lineup. Tremendous offense, and Dylan G now. He's 6-7, his 20th start of the year. Had a right lat problem earlier this year, but he's been back for a couple of months.
Yeah, 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball, slider, knuckle curveball that goes straight down. Pretty good outpitch for him at times. Changeup, maybe his best pitch at 83 miles an hour. The changeup has fade that mimics his sinker. So if his sinker's down and moving away moving away from lefties into righties, his changeup does the same thing, and that's when he's good. He's tough to pick up. The defense for Los Mets tonight behind Dylan G. Young, Lagares, Granderson in the outfield. Tejada Campbell left side. Herrera Duda right side. And Travis d'Arnaud back behind the dish. Yeah, 2-1 losses last start against the Reds. Gave up 2 runs on 7 hits over 7 innings. Struck out 6 Reds through 104 pitches. And
we've got some keys to the ball game, FP, brought to you by AFCIA, the Association for Global Security Professionals.
Not South Park, but North Park. Nats Park North, 12 in a row, 31 home runs to 6. They're talking about moving the fences in here. The Nats don't need that. And early and often, when the Nats score first, they are tough to beat.
Well, the Mets must be feeling pretty good about their pitching next year. They want to bring the fences in for a second time here at Citi Field. Big ballpark, small crowd. 21,000 tickets sold last night. Probably a little more than half of that actually here. And so the Mets at home, not that bad really, 36-36. The Nationals on the road are 37-34. And here's Denard Span to lead things off. 1 for 5 last night. It was interesting. He hit 4 balls in the air to the outfield and had a bunt base hit in the middle of it. He's 5 for 25 career against Dylan G. And the first pitch of the game at 7-11, strike 1. And that one fading down and away at 89. Span sporting a .299 average, 9th in the league. On base percentage, .351. Paul Emmel, and you might see Bill Welke tonight. He has joined this crew. He's at first base. James Hoyt, John Tumpane on the crew.
You remember Drew Storn had to give his glove a haircut because the laces were too long? Check out Dylan G's tonight. He's got some serious laces hanging off there. Apparently that was from the league with replay. They had to cut the laces down because on the Exmo replays, if that lace hits a leg, he's technically out.
It's a tag, yeah. Well, they're right across the river if they see it. So, yeah. Guys, call Citi Field. That's up the middle. And Dilson Herrera had him played that way. Rookie second baseman making the grab. That'll bring in Asdrubal Cabrera. 37th game as a Nat now. Couple of walks last night, went 0 for 2. So it's kind of the usual thing when Worth is out of the lineup. Rendon to the number 3 spot. Cabrera from 8 to 2. And tonight, Nate Scherholtz, a guy who Matt Williams really wants to get some at bats in there at the number 8 spot.
The Mets are wearing those Los Mets jerseys tonight because it's Hispanic Heritage Night. Every fan gets a Los Mets t-shirt.
Nice.
And most of the game public address announcements will be made in Spanish and English tonight. Los Mets. I like it.
So tonight it's beat Los Mets. 1-1. We'll see. Up and in. One game in baseball today. Yankees scored a run in the 11th at Baltimore on a Chris Young homer. And the Orioles got 2 in the bottom to beat them. And their magic number sitting at 7 right now.
Los O's.
Yeah. And quite a while without Chris Davis now suspended. 3-1 to Cabrera. And this is high in the air to left. Eric Young Jr. Nats magic number is 9 as they take the field tonight. Anthony Rendon all over the place. Pulled a single, a homer, later a single to right.
I talked to him before the game today. I said, did you raise your hands a little higher last night? He said, I don't know. I just go up there and hit. And that's just typical Anthony Rendon. Said he was feeling under the weather last night. That, you know, when you play sick, you're relaxed and calm. I looked at him and said, you're relaxed and calm every night. Don't blame last night on the flu or you not feeling well. You're good. Pretty simple.
He'll pop it up out of play to the right side. You should have seen his face in the clubhouse last night when we approached him for a post-game interview. It's like, oh, come on, guys, I don't feel good. It's like, you just went 3 for 5, man. You look pretty good to us. By the way, it's Alex Wood against Derek Holland in that Atlanta at Texas game tonight. And Dylan G off to a good start. He's come out throwing strikes here. Rendon, this is an odd matchup. This has to be one of the few in baseball like this. Anthony Rendon is 2 for 20 career against him with a double. Maybe he doesn't see him like he sees other guys.
Or maybe he's lined out 8 times.
Rendon lines one that won't be caught.
Well, second night in a row, there goes a no-hitter for Anthony Rendon. Not a problem. Relaxed, calm, and I just love the squint that he makes because the contact is so loud. I don't know that I've seen any other hitter do that. When he makes contact, his eyes are almost closed.
If he would just enjoy playing the game a little more, he'd be fun.
And calm down a little bit.
Always playing with a smile. Now the shift is on for LaRoche. And we were talking about that opposite field hit he had last night. I asked Adam, are you aware of the shift when you're in there? And he said, I am, but you still have to do what you do best against the kind of pitches you're getting. And I noticed tonight they've got the shortstop area covered a little better than they did last night, because remember they gave him that whole left side over there. Eric Campbell's the third baseman tonight. Last night Daniel Murphy was much further over toward the line. Looks like Tejada is the guy at home at short and Campbell's up the middle here. But they've definitely moved their left side guy over farther than he was after Adam drove in that run last evening. That's a strike, and it's 2-1.
Well, he's been down with the fastball so far. Pretty good command of the sinker, and that's something you really don't want to offer at until you have to with 2 strikes. Definitely not a 2-0 count. Good pitch.
Counts even.
We say it every time Dylan G pitches. The book on him is elevate him. Look for something that starts around your belt, maybe a little bit higher, but when he's down the zone, that's when he's really effective. Like a lot of guys, but the changeup off of that sinker is much better when that sinker's down the zone.
Big part of the LaRoche game lately is early game damage. Of course, he got it going late in the game in LA, and then since then helping to get the Nationals on top on a regular basis.
That was early for him.
2-2 pitch, and on the off speed he made a nice adjustment to foul it away. When this man's healthy, and the last time he wasn't was 2011, he puts up great numbers. Batting average down last year.
One of 3 active players hit 25+ homers for 4 teams: Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Arizona, and Washington. 06, 08, 10, 12. Likes the even number years.
He's driven in 100 for the Diamondbacks and the Nats. Had a 30-plus home run season for Atlanta early in his career. Now the count's 3-2, and Rendon will get a start at first. Lucas Duda is going to hang out with him just to keep him close here and then back up. Time called. Last night, first inning, Bartolo Colon, 23 pitches. This is number 20. And LaRoche will take it outside and take the base on balls for the 76th time this year.
Well, you see what G was doing to LaRoche right there, just trying to dart that outside lower third. You know, shave that front corner of the strike zone off because they know that he's hot. They don't want to give him anything to the pull side. And if you don't make the perfect pitch, you walk him. But trying to get Rendon in the scoring position for Ian Desmond, a guy that's got 83 stakes.
Easy take for him, the slider way outside. Kind of said that tongue-in-cheek. Nothing's an easy take on the first pitch for Ian because he loves to get in there and attack. He has 9 career hits against Dylan G. 3 of them home runs. Pretty good slider at 84 there.
G's a guy that's going to stay away early in the count at least. He might try to speed you up in late with a fastball, but for the most part, he's going to live on the outer half to righties and lefties.
That breaking ball was hanging, and Ian Desmond hit it hard over to Eric Campbell. Dylan G got away with one there. Long first inning for him. The Nats strand 2. Better every year, isn't it?
It's a mini Bryce puppet.
The Mets, 14th in the league in batting average, 9th in runs, 11th in home runs, and they can run their 4th in steals. Lucas Duda, he's in the top 3 in home runs, top 9 in RBIs, hitting .251. He's 1 for 9 career against the national starter, Gio Gonzalez. Daniel Murphy, you might notice, not in their lineup. Against the lefty tonight, Gio, 11 career starts against the Mets. He's 6-3.
Yeah, threw the fastball 72% of the time last start. Curveball only 7%. Changeup 21. So compare it to the season numbers you're seeing right there. And last start was a good one. You know, dueled Cole Hamels, earned 3-2 wins Sunday against the Phillies. 6 innings of work, gave up just 2 runs. Only one of those were earned, and gave up 5 hits, struck out 3, walked nobody, which is always a good stat, through 105 pitches.
The Mets are 33-26 when Eric Young Jr. starts a ball game this year. Had a couple of hits last night. He's 5 for his last 7. He's 6 for his last 8. And he's only batting, before that AB, 212 from the right side this year.
And not waiting around, Eric Young Jr. on against this defense. Harper Span Sherholtz, your outfield. Jason Worth just a day off, getting some rest. Desmond Rendon left side, Cabrera LaRoche right side, and Wilson Ramos behind the plate. Nate Sherholtz with 9 assists this year in right field.
Yeah, that's still the second most in the league. Hasn't played a whole lot regularly lately. Here's Juan Lagares. That was Eric Young Jr.'s first first hit in 11 career at bats against Gio Gonzalez. So you can't blame him for not waiting around. Lagares is 5 for 14.
Well, you like to get into the rhythm of your windup as a pitcher.
Yeah, and then on your second pitch, you're on the stretch, and that's a foul bunt.
I mean, see, hitting that dirt soft, almost hit behind him right there. Not a bad idea. Only thing, I talk about this all the time. I don't want guys bunting for a hit with 1 strike.
Yeah. 0-2 now. And it hit him. And Gio Gonzalez turned around and is really mad at himself. There was a number of guys hit by pitches last night around baseball. Matt Williams said in the dugout this afternoon he didn't think anything else would happen in this series after an ejection and warnings were given last night.
Man, while we're on the topic, our best wishes go out to everybody in the Marlins family, especially Giancarlo Stanton, who suffered that horrific injury last night. We just hope that he's okay and everybody down there in South Florida around him is too. That's obviously tough for the guy it happens to, but when it happens to one of your teammates, it's tough for 24 other guys too.
Here's Eric Campbell. And that got him near the trademark. Denard Span setting himself up for a throw, but Young going nowhere. Denard will hit the cutoff man, or rather throw it over Desmond and hit Rendon with 1 hop. And on 1 pitch, a big out for Gio in the first inning. Next up, lefty-lefty Lucas Duda matchup.
You know, it was almost as hard to watch as Giancarlo getting hit in the face last night was Fire's reaction to it.
Yeah.
And you wonder how he's going to fare coming out of this whole thing. Sometimes that gets so deep into your head, you just never throw a strike again. He's been their best pitcher coming down the stretch.
Pretty good heat, 91. Lucas Duda is 1 for 9 against Gio, and for the most part, not that great against lefties at all. Gio has walked him a couple of times, but he gets strike 2. That one down and in right at the knees. Got a count of 0-2.
So the reason the arm angle for Gio is so important, if you get around the curveball and your arm drops, it just kind of rolls in there. But when you get on top of it and you get that arm up just a fraction, now you're really pulling the lampshades down and getting that spin on it, and you see the big break.
And Gio told us recently, if you're seeing some of my breaking balls bouncing all that early in the game, I'm a little bit short with it, and the arm angle needs to improve, and that was a pretty good 0-2 pitch. Mercedes-Benz will have a look at this.
Well, pretty good 0-2 pitch. And you see Ramos's glove almost hitting the ground, so you're not going to get that call. I think a better 0-2 take. I don't know how Duda laid off that.
That one tailing inside. That was a changeup to the left-hander. And the high fastball. 3-2.
Let's see if Terry Collins decides to start Eric Young Jr. right here. Two good base runners, two guys with wheels. Nope.
They're holding. And that's a long, high foul.
3-2 changeup, left on left. How about that pitch selection by Wilson Ramos and Gio Gonzalez? There's a guy that rarely threw changeups last year, and now he's throwing it 3-2 to lefties. Wilson Ramos going to go out to say, what do you think about the curveball, Gio? That's what good catchers do. They throw him a changeup 3-2. They throw him a fastball 3-2. And he and Desmond going to go give his 2 cents. So what do you think?
Yeah, with guys on base, the pitch selection kind of influences where Desmond plays as well, right? Or how he shades or reacts.
That's a good point, especially if they're going no sign right here. You get the lean going, if anything, as a middle infielder when you know what pitch, but they went with a sign.
3-2 with 1 out. Missed low, bases loaded.
Pretty good pitch. And an even better reaction from Gio. He just said, give me the ball, let's go. Pretty good body language from Gio. Sometimes he lets close calls early affect him. That's a pretty good pitch. But he just got the ball back, right back up on the mound, and first inning drama for Gio.
Travis d'Arnaud against Gio. 1 for 8 career with a double. He's hit into the 3rd most double plays on the Mets. And that's a changeup that tails to the outside edge. Stealing a strike with that.
Came out of last night's game because he's caught more games than he ever has in his career, and he's all banged up. Bob Guerin saw an opportunity to get Anthony Recker in there and gave d'Arnaud a blow.
Yeah, and then Recker hit a home run. First time up. Long first inning for both pitchers. G 23 pitches. Gio about to throw his 16th. Staying away. 85, ball 2.
This is where you have to trust your fastball and trust that you can locate it. It seems like Gio really relying on the changeup here early, but there
That's
you go.
a great fastball.
Exactly what I'm talking about. Trust that. Steve McCatty always says, trust your stuff. Trust your fastball. That was perfect.
And the 2-2 goes with the heater again, and d'Arnaud deemed it close enough on which to be hacking. Bases loaded, 1 out. Tried to get him at 94. Missed inside.
Right idea. Had him locked up if it was a strike. No way d'Arnaud could have got to that after the fastball's away. Just barely missed. And here we go.
Mets had plenty of opportunities last night. Roark in the bullpen kept making big pitches. They stranded 5 runners in the 7th and the 8th. And here we go early tonight with a drive to left field that's hooking. And it's a fair ball into the corner. 2 runs are in. Here comes another. A good throw gets him. And the ball is dropped by Wilson Ramos. Harper to Desmond to Ramos should have been the 2nd out of the inning. And the Mets lead by 3.
It looked like he went with the changeup 3-2, and d'Arnaud caught it out front. down in the corner. Bryce Harper with a good throw to Ian Desmond. Ian Desmond with a good throw to Wilson Ramos. But it looked like Lucas Duda put his foot right into Wilson Ramos's glove and knocked it loose. Let's take a look together. Yeah, the back foot actually knocked it loose. How about that?
It's a 2-run double and an error on Wilson Ramos.
Big long hop for Ramos to handle. Tagged him on the back foot before it got to the plate. Goes to show Paul Emmel, and the ball pops loose. 3-0. And something to do with the play at the plate, or maybe the hop off the fence in left field. Don't make sure it wasn't a ground rule double.
Well, it looks like they're in pretty quick agreement that nothing's going to change here. So in this series, the Mets have scored 4 runs, and their catchers have driven in 3. Here's Curtis Granderson, runner at second, 1 out. Now that's a play last year and years before with the catcher receiving the ball that early. The runner would have never even been able to touch home plate, would have been totally blocked off. Not anymore. Nate Scherholtz, and you know they're not going to run on this arm. He's got it for the second out.
I just want to go back to a point I was making earlier about trusting your fastball. You saw Travis d'Arnaud late on the 3-2 fastball. You know, Gio located nice on the outside part of the plate. Tardy swing, and then he threw a changeup. And that changeup for Gio has been a blessing, but at times it's been a curse because it's something that he's really used as a safety net, I want to say, lately. With, you know, Massive Dan had a good report his last start about how his velocity's down. Well, it's only down about a mile an hour. It's not like he used to throw to 98 and he's throwing 89 now. But I think at times he likes that changeup so much, and he's gotten so many outs with it, that he gets away from the pitcher he used to be, which is a power guy. Power curveball, power fastball.
First pitch swinging, the rookie Dilson Herrera out of play.
And what I'm trying to get to is that when you're a power guy, that's the mindset, right?
Right.
This is what I do. I'm coming after you. I'm a power guy. Here's my best stuff. If you can hit it, I'll tip my cap. But that changeup, as good as it is, has a tendency to change your mindset into somewhere in between a finesse guy and a power guy.
Well, there's the pitch he wanted right there when he faced d'Arnaud. Fastball that he got under his hands for a strike on Herrera there. And he comes through the side door with a beautiful curveball. So the Mets get 3 runs. Tough start for Gio in game 2.
Long way to go.
Nats down by 3, but it's really early. Nats Plus memberships for next year. Experiences offered, rewards, access, exclusive autograph opportunities, team store discounts. Purchase a full or half-season plan now. You can also secure tickets for 2014 postseason games. 202-675-NATS or nationals.com/Nats Plus. Nationals had a couple of base runners first inning. Ian Desmond got unlucky on a hanging slider that he banged down to third for the third out. And here comes Bryce Harper, who had a base hit, a walk, and hit the ball hard 2 of his 4 times last evening. He's done some damage against Dylan G. 5 hits, 2 home runs. First pitch, breaking ball in on his hands.
He tweaked something in that swing, holding the side.
$14 RBIs last 28 games, hitting just under 300 over that time. And he rips this one out to center. Cutting it off, Lagares. Harper on a little bobble, going for 2, and alert base running by Bryce Harper. Any little glitch and he's off and running.
Effortless swing, ball jumping off his bat. And after his first swing or check swing, he stepped out of the box, grabbed his side. And he's still not right at second base. He's kind of looking down, taking inventory as we speak. But a beautiful swing. And even when Juan Lagares bobbles a ball, you still got to hustle into second base. One of the better arms in baseball. Usually accurate, but he had to hurry because of the hustle of Harper. And a leadoff double here in the second. Or single E8, excuse me.
Yeah, each team with an error in the first inning, or at least early in the game, and Ramos will top one. And Wilson, as you mentioned last night, been slamming a lot of balls straight down into the dirt. First pitch swinging again. He's 4 for 20 career against Dylan G, and Wilson Ramos now is 4 for his last 35. So some much anticipated ABs for Nate Scherholz. Talking to Matt Williams in the dugout today, it was very obvious to him how important he considers this left-handed bat the rest of the way in this season. And then you got to have a good stick off the bench, both sides of the plate in postseason play. Another batter started from the left side with a breaking ball by Dylan G.
You know, I disagree with that single E8. That was a double all the way. Bryce never stopped. Lagares was going away from the play. He mishandled the baseball, but it's not like Bryce decelerated and started again. He was going for 2 all the way because Lagares was going into the gap away from the play. Should have been a double.
2-0. Nate knows Dylan G, 3 for 7 career against him, with a double, a triple, and a base on balls. And another little tapper right out in front of home plate. And Travis d'Arnaud can't pick it up.
Well, as Gio Gonzalez steps in the box right here, he's got to be thinking to himself, okay, keep him at 3, and I got a chance to win this game 4-3, 5-3, whatever it is. You know, the Mets, as we saw last night, didn't play the best defense we've seen all year, and another free base runner right here. And early on, this becomes a critical time in the game for Gio. He hasn't been as good as he's been in the past with the sacrifice last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, 4 total all year.
Great wheels on second, great wheels on first.
Gio deadens it really well. That'll be 1-4 on the sacrifice.
Nicely done.
And Denard Span a chance to get the Nats back to within 1.
Good bump by Gio. Get some high fives when he gets back to the dugout.
Span hit the ball fairly well up the middle first time, but like he is now, Dilson Herrera had him shaded up the middle at second base.
With expanded rosters in September, you can actually get tired giving high fives when you get back to the dugout.
So Denard in this series is 1 for 6. He hasn't made an out on a ground ball yet. And tonight's was a line drive, 4 fly ball outs last night. And that hit him. That was a breaking ball. Darno was diving to his right to block it. And Denard Span took it right off the foot, the ankle. And has he been sent to first base yet? Chatting with Paul Emmel. Yeah, there he goes. Bases loaded.
He's taking inventory, making sure he's okay. When you're a speed guy and you get hit down low, you got to take inventory. It looked like it might have bounced and hit him in the knee, actually.
Yeah, big hop. Now Cabrera could get the Nationals right back close to the Mets, or even.
Or the lead.
Five of the first 10 men have reached base. Cabrera takes the high riding fastball.
This is where I feel like Dylan G gets behind on purpose to throw the changeup. I don't think he was really concerned if that fastball is a strike or not. Changeup.
It's a good one, 82. Then he goes 89 with movement away. So is that Senior Met tonight on his sleeve? I think so.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Yeah, that changeup made him late for 89. And Cabrera just gets a little of it, and it's caught by Dilson Herrera. A lot of people feel he'll be the Mets' regular second baseman next year, even though he's the youngest player in the major league. Started this year at single A ball.
You got to be in fair territory. And what you're getting now, about 90% of the time, is this sweep tag from the catcher to the runner. And with the sweep tag, you can only use one hand. And back in the day, when a catcher dropped his shin guard and blocked the plate, they would actually put the ball in their bare hand, in their glove, and tag you with the glove and their bare hand. That doesn't happen anymore. So now, as a catcher, you're sweeping the tag, and the ball is vulnerable to being kicked out of there, just like you see with Wilson Ramos. He really couldn't put his bare hand in there and dive all the way across the plate, because now your hand and your body are susceptible to injury. And it's just the way the game has changed now, to where the catcher's almost like a first baseman on a pickoff play.
Did they knock him out of their chair like you just did to me during that demo?
Sorry. I'm a little excited.
Ouch. Ruben Tejada, number 8 man for the Mets.
And the point was, too, as a base runner, you could actually feel the catcher's hand holding the ball through his glove, and they would almost punch you with it as you went by with two hands. Kind of like what I did to you in the middle of that replay.
Yeah, no, I understand it now better than ever. Gio drops in that breaking ball. He's got a good curveball going, so you hope he doesn't fall in love too much with the slider, or rather the changeup. And that ball hit out to center. He overpowered him with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And since the d'Arnaud double, Gio Gonzalez has retired 3 in a row.
In the middle of the breakdown of the play at the plate, I looked, and Matt Williams and Steve McCatty almost got into fair territory. As Gio was warming up, Gio was off the mound, and he waved him back to the dugout. They both coming out of the dugout, and watch Gio in the background. He's like, I'm fine, I'm good. Interesting.
Dylan G, a 107 career hitter, with 1 out. And Dylan G would be more than a 107 career hitter if he wasn't 0 for 33 this year, and 0 for his last 39 going back to last year. Nats Mets dollar hot dogs. Final homestand of the regular season kicks off with Hatfield and the Dollar Dogs on Tuesday, September 23. To get your game tickets and see all the special offers for this series, nationals.com/specials. Buns, mustard, free. Two down, 4 in a row for Gio. Let's see what Eric Young Jr. does this time, or more interesting than that, what pitch Gio throws him first pitch this time. He goes with the changeup and gets a strike. Young got it started first pitch of the game for Gonzalez with a clean single up the middle. Target in. 1-1. Another beauty of a changeup there.
Well, I like Gio's stuff tonight.
Yeah.
You know, the first pitch single to Young. He tried to go in. Lagares hit him. Okay, well, they're trying to go in there. Pretty close pitches to Duda 3-2. And then the well-placed double by Travis d'Arnaud. So it's not like, you know, the stuff isn't there. And I feel like if he keeps him to 3, he definitely has a chance.
Well, you've talked about this numerous times. A lot of times early in the ball game, Gio, some adversity. Once that is out of his way, boom, pretty good the rest of the night, we hope. And boom, pretty good right there. 1, 2, 3 in the second. Couple of strikeouts. Los Mets facing Senor Rendon in a moment. Anthony already has a base hit tonight. So he has 4 hits in 6 ABs in this series already. 160 hits on the year. 22 strikes. Dylan G's been in hot water early. Nats haven't been able to get that 2-out hit. So Jeep brings you some interesting numbers. The good kind of road rage when you hit a home run, at least one a game, game after game after game. So right now, look at the Nationals. 3 of the top 5 totals in all of baseball. And of course, the Seattle-Los Angeles thing, they went absolutely crazy recently. And the A's and the White Sox also on that list. Rendon jacks one to left. Ball carrying and way over the head of Eric Young Jr. Dies at the base of the wall at the 370 mark. Anthony Rendon, single, double, his 37th double of the year, and his 62nd extra base hit.
I mean, what a season he's putting together. And we talk about Denard Span maybe being the MVP of this team, but flip a coin for me between those two. And even Adam LaRoche, she'd go down the list. But what Anthony Rendon has done this year, just unbelievable. So short, so compact. That's a low-maintenance swing. It's designed to get the barrel to the baseball. And he's as consistent at that as I've ever seen.
Strike one to Adam LaRoche, who walked his first time.
Ron Darling today in the media dining was comparing him to Paul Molitor. And I think that's a very fair comparison with the little movement that he has, the foot down early. And Molitor had the quickest bat I had ever seen.
That's a great call. Well, if Anthony has the kind of career Paulie had, we're talking lots of hits. Molitor, a 3,000 hit guy. Nats have actually out-hit the Mets 3-2.
You talk to the players, too. We could go through all the stats, the runs scored, how he's leading the league, all that stuff about Rendon. But when you talk to the players in the clubhouse, they say the same guy every day. That's hard to do in life, let alone baseball. That's such a roller coaster ride with, you know, you fail 7 out of 10 times and you're in the Hall of Fame.
LaRoche, and there was nobody at shortstop again. Here comes Rendon. He'll score his baseball leading 106th run, and Adam LaRoche continues to punish the Mets. They might as well just play him straight up.
Or turn around and just throw it in the gap. Because, you know, that's what he does to these guys. And they're trying to figure out a way to get him out. You throw him in, he shoots you into the right field stands. You throw him away, he hits it over there. And we talked about his last 6 games, a 348 average, 3 homers, 7 RBI, and he's adding on to it here. And Anthony Rendon with his 106th run of the year, 106.
And that's LaRoche now with 16 RBIs over his last 8 games plus 1 official at bat. He's 14 for 36 against the Mets. And Dylan G did not fool Ian Desmond first time up tonight either. One swing and the Nats are right back in this, if not already. Fastball away, 2-0. Adam LaRoche, 86 runs batted in. Desmond hopping all over a 2-0 pitch that was up. Ball game starting at 7:11 tonight, top of the third. It's taken a while because both teams have had base runners. Good news, Gio a 1-2-3 second, 5 in a row retired. And he's got his offense right back in the dugout and in the batter's box. Ball 3. You might have noticed Dan's name missing from the graphic. He'll be back with us Monday in Atlanta.
Wait, you told me he quit before the game.
No.
He's joking?
No, I was thinking about the reporter's job, but
I said, hey.
No, he'll be back. Desmond the other way. 3 hits in a row. Setting the table for Bryce Harper, who already has a base hit tonight. Don't you love to see Ian Desmond use that side of the field?
Absolutely. Line's moving. A nice job of staying on this G offering. And he worked them away first time up. So you talk about big league hitters making adjustments. Ian Desmond hit the ball hard to third, but he said, all right, you're going to work me away. I'll go that way. Nice piece of hitting. Hit number 136 for Ian Desmond on the season.
5 Nationals hits now. 5 hits, a hit batter, a walk, and he's only retired 6 guys, but he's going to pick up 2 on that. A 4-6-3 double play ball.
Might have been a changeup from G, but Bryce rolls over it. And you see Dilson Herrera with a good feed to Ruben Tejada. And wow, Ian Desmond went to get Tejada. They could have just called that a double play based on Desmond's slide. Nowhere near the bag. And there's a big part of me that loves that, actually.
That's up to Wilson Ramos with 2 outs to get the Nats a run closer. Ramos pounded one into the dirt right in front of home plate first time. Takes first pitch this time.
You do this as a base runner because you know it's a tailor-made double play. Watch Ian Desmond go to get Tejada way out there, not even close to the bag. You can always kind of flip over and act like you're reaching for the bag after you slide. It gives a little bit of reference.
Yeah, you don't get a club length on that one. Arm's length, maybe. And the count 1-1 to Ramos, who did get an RBI last night on a ground ball. Wilson's driven in 41 this year. Up the middle, looks good, and the Nationals are back to within a run. Huge hit for Wilson Ramos with his struggles lately, and it's a 3-2 ball game.
Well, 2-out RBIs are golden, and especially following a double play. So you're thinking, oh, rally killer, right? Double play. Not so fast. The Buffalo checking in with a big knock. And Adam LaRoche will still be giving high fives. About third pitch in a Nate Scherholtz at bat here.
50 pitches for Dylan G. And it's interesting. He had 37 at the start of this inning. So 13 pitches against 5 hitters. 4 of them base hits.
He's been elevated all of a sudden.
Counts even 1-1. Thirty-year-old veteran in the number 8 spot for the Nats tonight. Got an off-speed pitch. He was out ahead.
Not where Dylan G wanted that changeup. 83 miles an hour, letter high, goes far, and Scherholtz just out in front of that.
Look out, Bob Henley.
It's time to tweet your photo of Bob Henley using hashtag #MASSonFanPhotos for a chance to have it shown in a future broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. There he is. Got a good story about the staff's run, if we can get to it tonight.
Go ahead.
Well, Major League Productions is here, and they're doing a hunt for October, whatever the name of it is, with all the teams in the pennant race. So guys are mic'd up. They have cameras everywhere. It's like 24/7 all access here in New York. Matty Williams went running with everybody yesterday, and they had the camera crew with them. They were mic'd up, and in the middle of the run, they ran into an ice cream truck. So Bob Henley stopped and got some ice cream. Had no money on him at all. He just walked up to the ice cream truck in the middle of the run and said, "Hey, can I get some ice cream? I don't have any money." The guy handed him an ice cream cone.
Wow.
And he had it in his left hand, and they kept running.
Something free in New York.
I mean, that takes playing for the push to a whole new level when you're running. Jogging with an ice cream cone in one hand. It's almost like jogging with a cigarette. Same thing.
Breaking ball. Shearholt strikes out. Nats come up big, though. Couple of runs on 4 hits. Brand new ball game. Now Gio back to work.
I think you could just put Anthony Rendon 2 for 2 at the double in the majority of our game summaries. Adam LaRoche, 15th RBI against the Mets this season, and Wilson Ramos with a big 2-out knock. But we're going to show you some early damage from the New York Mets. Travis d'Arnaud in a big situation, bases loaded. In the bottom of the first inning, gets a 3-2 changeup. Hits it down the corner. Looked like it was going to score 2, and that Lucas Duda was going to be out by a mile. But the Geico highlights show him kicking the ball out of Wilson Ramos's glove with the back foot. And that's the difference so far in this game, that play right there.
A lot of Geico highlights early in this one. 3-2 ball game, but it's trending well for the Nationals. We go bottom 3, Lagares, Campbell, Duda, and Gio. 37 pitches, 26 strikes in 2 innings. At a 12 pitch, 1-2-3 second. One of the key plays in that first inning, he was ahead of Juan Lagares 0-2 when he hit him. And suddenly the pressure was on. He's been nice with that side door breaking ball.
That was a roundhouse curveball.
Yeah.
I think that went through the Mets dugout, came back and just got the corner.
It just nicked the Jackie Robinson rotunda. And he goes with the changeup. And Denard Span waiting for it. 6 in a row.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one on this beautiful Friday night, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
City Field, New York City, borough of Queens, Flushing. Mark Lerner here. Mark took the bus over with us from Manhattan this afternoon. Good to see him. I tell you what, you take the bus at 3:30 on a Friday afternoon, it'll take a while. Took us an hour to get to the ballpark today.
I got one for you. Atlanta from where we stay on a Friday,
yeah.
or
That's
Manhattan
worse.
to Flushing.
I would take New York.
Yeah, me too. I said that.
Yeah. Downtown Atlanta, where 75 and 85 come together, forget it.
Had a dude making the trip. Had a Tyler Clippard starter kit on. I love it. Ready.
Working on his changeup.
Call him up. Hey, he's game facing.
He can throw a changeup with a tennis ball right now. It's really good. And it's 0-2 to Eric Campbell, who on the first pitch he saw first inning hit a fly ball to Denard Span. They are underway in Texas. Braves batting. Top of the first inning. And Gio with another changeup. He doubled up once he got ahead. 4 strikeouts. Nissan will track it.
Well, since it's Los Mets, this is a cambio in Spanish.
Yeah.
And Gio throwing a couple of nice ones to Eric Campbell.
Lucas Duda. He drew a walk that loaded the bases back in the first.
I mean, if you put Los in front of everything, is it Spanish? Because then I speak fluently. Los Lucas Duda. I mean, right?
Well, the answer is no, which is no in every language, I think. Or at least several. Well, we've been to L.A. when they had Los Doyers one night. We used to talk about Los Nacionales.
See, but that's Spanish.
Like it.
Nacionales.
Yeah, true.
Gigantes.
Mets is Mets. And Gio went with 92 and a ball fouled straight back. Bottom of the third inning, New York 3, Washington 2. And Gio trying to get another dose of his team into the dugout. And here comes Harper, and Bryce just unable to get to it. Lucas Duda drops one in. But with 2 outs, he had the big power hitter protecting and ending up with a base hit the other way. And Bryce made a good play to not let that ball on the in-between hop get by him. It'll bring in d'Arnaud. Good tailing heater at 91. So we'll see if that double erases the changeup for the rest of the night against this guy. Unless he really places it well, low and away. Went with it. Count even. Went change up again. That's a busted bat. Hanging up, and Bryce will get there. Harper with the grab. So Gio Gonzalez has retired 8 of the last 9 Mets. And across the river, east of the Empire State Building, 3-2, New York. It'll be Gio, then Span and Cabrera, top of the 4th inning. Moment in history. Well, how about a couple of moments brought to you by University of Maryland, University College, September 12th, 79. Carl Yastrzemski, the great left-handed power slugger, the Red Sox. And sure, he'd love doing it against the Yankees, number 3,000. And then here, the rookie Doc Gooden finishes the season with 276 strikeouts in his rookie year. Unbelievable. And that's still a record, and I would venture to say, unless somebody totally blows it out and goes for Tommy John surgery the day after the season's over, that record is not going to be broken.
I think he was 19 years old that year, too. He debuted at 19 years in 143 days.
Amazing.
April 7th, 1984.
Gio with a sacrifice first time up, and they better watch this guy. He's homered in this ballpark this year. One of his 3 career blasts.
Talking to himself. Pretty good hack.
Trying to become the first Net since Rick Ankiel to homer and sacrifice in the same game. That's up and away. Good eye. Gio, 4 hits this year, a couple of RBIs. 7 driven in his career. And that's sliding away from him. And now 2 strikeouts in a row for Dylan G. His first 2 of the game. Right back here tomorrow night, it'll be Doug Fister and Zach Wheeler in a good pitching matchup. So another 7 o'clock game. And then at 1 o'clock on Sunday, it'll be Jordan Zimmerman for the Nationals. And he will take on lefty Jonathan Neese. And now you're looking at all 3 in Atlanta. Night games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Mets will be flying down from New York, and the Braves will be coming back from Texas.
Got a chance to sit down with Doug Fister today before the game. Did a nice interview that'll be on right before the first pitch tomorrow.
Cool.
You don't want to miss it. It's really, really good stuff. Doug was awesome.
Denard Span 0 for 1, hit by a pitch.
You know, we get those interviews in when we have weird start times, and it's always nice to sit down with the players.
Yeah.
And they've all been very accommodating, and they're fun for me to do, sit there and talk to them. Doug Fister today, I could have sat there and talked to him for an hour about pitching. I was so fascinated by his answers and the way he goes about it. And we talked about the trip to the mound and Matt Williams. I mean, it's just, he gets it.
Span pulls it, and to his right, Lucas Duda with a good play. Everybody on the move right there. Duda to G, 2 down.
The Nats' second game against the Marlins on Friday. It's a doubleheader. So second game, 7:05 start. That's on the 26th. First 20,000 fans will receive a Nationals team poster. That's presented by Credit Union National Association. Go to nationals.com/tickets to find out how you get your poster.
Yeah, and a reminder, that's 2 weeks from tonight. Those 2 will be there. And that's a day-night doubleheader. 1 o'clock game on Friday, making up a rainout, and then a 7 o'clock ball game. So a ton of baseball at Nationals Park 2 weeks from right now. As Drupal Cabrera with Eric Campbell way back trying to lay one down.
Normally not a fan of the 2-out bunt, but anytime you get Anthony Rendon to the plate with a runner on, I think it's a good thing.
Braves, by the way, did not score in the first inning at Texas. And it's 0-2 now to Asdrubal Cabrera. He's 0 for 2, fly ball to left. And then that flare that threatened to drive in a couple of runs, but Herrera raced out to get it. And that one got Travis d'Arnaud on a pitch diving down and in.
They got Travis d'Arnaud right where his shin guard stops on his foot. So the foot guard.
Nasty breaking ball. And the best inning of the game for Dylan Gee. He has struck out 3 of the last 4 batters. Middle of the 4th in New York. It's 3-2 Mets.
Mets as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Gio Gonzalez has been striking out Mets with the off speed tonight. See Herrera with the backdoor curveball for strike 3 looking. And a good changeup to Eric Young Jr. to get the 3rd strike swing. And another changeup to Eric Campbell for another strikeout. DC area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by an Nats pitcher this season.
Curtis Granderson, first pitch swinging, towering pop-up. Who's got it? Nobody. Desmond went out, and you could tell from the reaction of Denard Span that that ball was just kind of falling straight down. And Curtis Granderson gets a gift-wrapped double.
Well, the wind's blowing straight in from left field. And Ian Desmond gave up on that. He's turning around watching the replay on the board, but the wind is blowing in. Not crazy blowing in, but enough to affect this baseball. And you see Desmond got turned around, and once he got turned around, the ball kind of went from second base toward third, and everybody looking at each other. And that had trouble written all over right from the get-go. I mean, Span can't go that far. He's thinking he has it, but the wind kept bringing it kind of over and to the left toward the line.
Strike call with a heater to the knees of Dilson Herrera, who struck out looking first time up.
Once Ian got turned around, that was all she wrote on that one. And there's the wind kind of blowing from right to left. Sometimes it's blowing straight in. It's been varying.
Yeah, blowing in hard off Flushing Bay tonight.
And the only time it really affects the ball here is when it gets up out of the stadium. And that was hit so high, it was definitely effective.
Yeah. That's a good changeup by Gio. Looked like a strike for a moment. Young hitter committed. No chance to reach it. Mercedes-Benz to track it.
Yeah, probably double up on that pitch. He was way out front and didn't look like he had any notions of moving Curtis Granderson to third. That was a pull swing all the way.
And number 8 hitter on deck here. Then he buzzes him on the inner half, and that's a changeup. So Gio with the off speed gets his 5th strikeout. That's big because, as I said, number 8 guy coming up now, and then the pitcher. Beautiful.
Yeah, good frame by Ramos. Very rarely do you throw a changeup in, but they set up in there, threw it in there. And I think they were looking for Herrera to pull the baseball, but they got the bonus with the strikeout.
Ruben Tejada fly ball to Span first time. Overpowering changeup, strike 1.
I've had fly balls hit like that to me in center field, the one that Granderson hit, and you're running toward it as a center fielder and you're going, why am I not getting closer to this baseball right now? And picking up grass and throwing it in the air in major league stadiums doesn't always tell the story of what's going on way up top.
And the ball ripped to third. Rendon can look the runner back. And after a couple of hops, fires to LaRoche for the 2nd out. And now Gio has to get out the pitcher. Dylan G, Texas boy from a town called Cleburne, just outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's a little bit low. He had surgery a couple of years ago to his right shoulder to replace a portion of a damaged artery. He had suffered numbness in his fingers earlier that season. Needless to say, this is a hitter that Gio Gonzalez just has to go after. End this inning right here. It's 2-0. And a bouncer, second base Cabrera, and now Dylan G is 0 for 34 this year.
Well, I was just going to say it. You said it, and I was definitely not going to say it while I was in the box. No way.
We wait till the inning's over for those, ladies and gentlemen.
the third inning, or suffer from short-term memory loss. We're going to show it to you again. Anthony Rendon started with a leadoff double. Shocking. Weird. Then Adam LaRoche with a base hit that scored Rendon. That's weird as well. 86 RBI for LaRoche. And then Wilson Ramos, after Bryce Harper double play, singles up the middle with 2 outs to score LaRoche. There's the Nats 2 runs. It is 3-2. And now you're all caught up.
Anthony Rendon has scored 4 more runs than Hunter Pence and Mike Trout to lead the major leagues. Adam LaRoche has driven him in on numerous occasions. So 2 batters in this series that have combined for 8 hits already, and LaRoche has driven in 4. And it's only the 5th inning of game 2. Dylan G delivers 89 to the outer half. 71st pitch.
Well, the single was to left, the double left center. That's where you usually see Rendon start to spray the ball, move it around a little bit, maybe go the other way.
So I'm thinking triple left center or right center.
Yeah,
here?
just really show off. And the reason you see that at times, he's that good to know that, hey, I had a couple hits to the pull side. They're going to try me away. And I'm just going to go with it.
Fastball up, 2-2. Off-speed pitch. There it goes to left. Another one heading for the wall, and it bounces straight up. And that ball appears to still be in play.
That's a homer.
It hit the yellow line at the top of the wall. Did it hit anything behind the wall? The fans were flinching. And you know Matt Williams is coming out on this.
Live, I thought it hit the top of the fence on the orange and then hit the back fence and came back in. Could be wrong, but from where I'm sitting, that's what I saw. I thought it hit the top of the wall, bounces off the fence, or just hits the fence. That's a home run.
Yeah, that's over the orange line.
It's a homer. It's a tie ball game, folks, and home run number 20 for Anthony Rendon, if they get it right, and how could they not?
And how about the symmetry? Home run number 20, RBI number 80. The umpires will go over to the gear and get in touch with the folks across the river, but this should not take long.
I mean, how good is Anthony Rendon? You got to be kidding me. Single, double, homer, 3 hits last night with a home run. Everybody you talk to, when you talk about the Nationals, coaches on other teams, I'll take your third baseman. Rendon is the guy. He's unbelievable, and you're seeing it firsthand right here. Another unbelievable performance by Anthony Rendon, and this game's only not even 5 innings old yet.
There you go. See you at home plate, Anthony Rendon. And the Nats have hit their 140th home run of the year.
107th run of the year for Rendon. 80th RBI. Oh, wait. And he just goes deep to left center field. And I was talking about going to right. Forget that, FP. I'll show you. I'm going to pull this. And it just stays in the air. Backspin galore.
3-3 ball game. Here's LaRoche. And with nobody on, they have Ruben Tejada.
So 20 home runs, 80 RBIs, 107 runs scored.
Amazing. This is interesting because they have their third baseman, Eric Campbell, in right field. A lot of teams will put the third baseman near the umpire and then the second baseman out in the outfield, but that's Eric Campbell over there. 0-2 to LaRoche, who's 1 for 1 with a walk and an RBI single tonight. Breaking ball stays outside. We talked about Dylan G and the home runs. He's given up to the Nats. Another one tonight. And LaRoche taking a ball in the dirt off speed. 2-2. 3-7-1 Nats. 3-4-2 Mets here in the 5th. And LaRoche will flex his knees, go down and get it, and stay alive. You know, the Mets may want to rethink this fence thing for next year. They might want to put it on rollers so they can move it back out when Washington comes to town.
Well, I don't know with the young staff they have why they would think about moving the fences in. They're going to be based on pitching. Their center fielder covers as much ground as any center fielder in baseball. Now you can take a young staff and move the fences in because you want it to be more exciting for the fans. If you're going to have a Matt Harvey and a Jacob deGrom and a Zach Wheeler, the last thing I would do is move the fences in.
What a bat by Adam LaRoche. He was down 0-2 and he walks for the second time tonight. And at this time, a memo to marketing geniuses all over baseball. The fans get excited when you win, not if you lose 8-7 or 9-6 every night.
Well, maybe they're trying to attract some free agents to put up numbers by bringing the fences in. I don't know, but if I had a young staff, that's the last thing I would do.
Absolutely, totally agree. Here's Desmond, base hit the other way first time. Ian said before the game today his back feels fine. He kind of laughed and said, "You know where this comes from, don't you? Too many bus rides in my early years." Ian Desmond, one of those guys, paid his dues, 6 full years in the minor leagues. And I told him that, you know, we got to think about those guys every time we're complaining about an hour bus ride over to a major league ballpark.
Yeah.
After all the buses you were on, and Ian and other guys who have been in the minor leagues for a number of years.
I don't think you've ever heard me complain about anything at the big league level as far as travel goes.
And a ball to the right side to Herrera, and Desmond able to beat it to keep the situation from being 2 outs, bases empty.
Good hustle by Desmond right here. Hits it off the end. Not taking anything for granted. Looked like Herrera had a little hesitation on the backhand flip. And Terry Collins going to come out and talk to Bill Welke, and they might review this. Can't tell right there.
Tell. They're going to go. He got the thumbs up from his dugout, so it could turn into a 4-6-3 double play. I did hear a great story about Don Drysdale when he was a kid. In the minor leagues, wrote his dad a letter. I don't think I can do this, these bus rides, all this. His dad sent him back a 1-sentence response that said, "Son, they don't ride buses in the major leagues." A couple of years later, he was flying. Mets fans seem to think that was a double play. We'll see.
My son never sends me a note like that. I'm going to tell him to quit whining. He's playing pro baseball. And be thankful that you get up at noon and go to a ballpark and get paid for it.
Yeah.
Now, that one might be reversed, but my record lately is just awful, so I have no idea.
Our go-to line is it has to be conclusive.
Yeah.
Just sometimes depends on who's doing the concluding.
You know, when Fox and everybody takes over the broadcast for the playoffs, if the Nats are lucky enough to get there, I want to be the replay box holder guy.
Runner safe at first. Terry Collins out of challenges, and he got the thumbs up from his guys in the dugout, or else he doesn't follow through with that. Well, in a tie game, that could be a close game later. That's big.
Well, yeah, you got a guy on first base that has 18 stolen bases. Needs 2 more for 2020.
And because of that, just 1 out in the inning. And here's Bryce Harper. He hit into a 4-6-3 double play last time up. Quick turn, but not the A throw over from Dylan G. Bryce 1 for 2 tonight. Desmond 18 for 23. And the Nats are really building his pitch count. That's been happening from the first inning. Runner going. The throw is high. Does Desmond stay on the bag? Yes, he got back.
And guess who doesn't have a review?
Yeah, I know. Terry Collins can't challenge it. James Hoy looked like he saw what was happening with Desmond, and he really stuck his nose in there and kept a close eye. And that's number 19 for Ian Desmond.
I mean, when you're having a rough season like the New York Mets are, this is the way it goes. You challenge a play that you're almost sure he's out on. It doesn't go your way. Now you're out of challenges, and you would definitely challenge this, and it happens within minutes. He could have been out on the tag. He might have been out right here, but it doesn't matter because Terry Collins just burned his challenge.
And Ian Desmond called himself safe with 1 arm right there.
I'm not criticizing Terry for using the challenge, but the point I'm trying to make is when you're going good, things like that don't happen. When you're going bad, that's exactly how it goes.
Now Harper could put the Nats on top. Washington's 90th steal of the year. And on a pitch fading up and away, 81. Bryce couldn't get it.
Pretty good look right here.
Yeah, looked like he got back.
Look at his eyes right to the umpire. What do you got? What do you got? Safe or out? What do you got?
I'm safe.
Safe. He's calling it out his belly. Didn't need an umpire. He's got it.
Everybody wants to be an ump. Bryce Harper will stay with that one. It's out of play by a good margin. Steady diet of changeups here from Dylan G to Bryce.
Who's got it? They're still looking.
Dylan G didn't start a ball game from May 10th until July 9th when he went on the DL with that right lat. That's why he's only made 19 starts this year. Two to Harper. Good battle here. And Bryce getting in his licks.
Nissan will show you the whole at bat here in a minute. There it is. Everything away.
High and tight, and down goes Bryce.
I'll wake you up. little close shave from Dylan G. Wanted it up, but he went up and in. And Bryce Harper doing the limbo. Yeah, regroup, I think.
Right-handed batter on deck. First base open. You'd be shocked if you saw a fastball for a strike here. Although Ramos did have an RBI against the right-hander last time up. And he went changeup again, popped up to left. Guys staying with it now after what they saw happen in the bottom of the fourth inning, and that's an important second out for the Mets. Eric Young Jr. taking care of that. That'll bring in Wilson Ramos, 1 for 2.
On fastballs this year and the 3-2 count in all of baseball, 62.7% of the time. It seems like it's a lot less than that.
It does.
But when you think of how much is left there, that's a lot of off speed in 3-2 counts. And it's become a swinging count. I think in years past, guys wouldn't just predetermine their swinging, but talking to major league pitchers now, they feel like if you're going to swing 3-2, and most guys do, why would I throw you a fastball? You're swinging.
Yeah. Wilson Ramos, 42 RBIs, 2 of them in this series. And he goes up the middle for the 3rd time. To his left, it's Tejada. And the Nationals will tie the game on the leadoff home run by Anthony Rendon. Took a review to make sure it was out of here. It was above the orange line, hitting on the back fence. Rendon's 20th. It's a 3-3 game. Of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. The green grass of baseball. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Well, the Nats have cashed in 1 home run tonight, FP, and it's good whenever they do.
Remember, our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to Children's National Medical Center for every home run. A Nats player hits this season, so keep them coming. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection. And I wish people could have saw what we just did.
Yeah, promo cards flying back and forth here like fastballs.
We're handing that promo back and forth to each other on the card.
No, you do it.
Finally, I got it.
Well, you know, the wind is blowing in, and it was hard to get a hold of that.
It was.
Young, Lagares, Campbell, bottom of the 5th. By the way, through 4 innings, Gio's at 64 pitches. Through 5, Dylan G is at 95. One ball, 1 strike. Young a base hit up the middle. First inning led to 2 runs, actually 3, when an error was made, and then he struck out swinging to end the second. So Gio's retired 11 of the last 13 New York hitters. Staying away from EY.
A little fast right now, flying open.
Not a guy you should walk to lead off an inning. And Eric Young went upstairs, 92.
I don't think there's any type of guy you should walk to lead off an inning, but you see Gio slowing down right there, especially a guy with the speed like Young. But it's just about staying over the mound. We talk about it with Steven. The same thing applies for every pitcher, really. Just staying right there for a click and getting that release point out front.
Up the middle, Cabrera, and it hit the bottom of his glove and fell out. Possible he would not have thrown out EY anyway. So the Mets have their speedy leadoff guy on.
Yeah, that's a good shot of it. No way he gets Young. He's going away from the play. He's probably going to make that throw in another 2 steps after he catches it. And now the Nats, who have been better than everybody in baseball, have thrown out would-be base stealers, have to keep Young close.
Eric Young Jr., 29 out of 35. He's tied for 5th in the league in steals with Denard Span.
And the Nats have thrown out 29 of 85 would-be base stealers, 34%. That leads all of baseball. Cardinals are a close second with 32%.
15 of those by Ramos. .137 stolen bases for Eric Young Jr. Lagares has been hit by a pitch and a fly ball to center. Braves got a run in the 3rd against Texas. 1-0 ball game there. Against a Texas Rangers team that is 37 games behind the Angels. Runner moving, got a good jump. Doesn't matter now, he's going to score easily on a drive by Juan Lagares. And the Mets have retaken the lead.
I mean, look at the pitch right here from Gio. Challenge fastball, or was it a changeup? Looked like a heater, and Lagares caught it out front down the corner. And watch Eric Young Jr. run. He gets a good read on it right here. Barely hesitates. And no way Bryce Harper and Ian Desmond had a chance at Young. Easy send for Tim Tuffle, and that makes it a 4-3 game.
Yeah, that was 83 and a changeup. Then he throws the curveball for a strike to Eric Campbell. Well, Darno in the 1st and Lagares here in the 5th, turning on that off-speed pitch.
Chuck telling me they had Eric Young Jr. first to home in 10 seconds, even with a little stutter step he had there, waiting for the ball to drop. That's getting it.
Wow. That ball is foul. Backhanded by Rendon in foul ground. First time we saw this young man earlier this summer. He was batting .300. 280 range now. For the 27-year-old native of Norwich, Connecticut. Played at Boston College. All ACC a couple of times. Eric Campbell. Strikeout and a fly ball tonight. Hits it pretty well to center. Span going back. Grabs it on the run. Lagares backtracking so he can tag and go to third. An important 90 feet on the first out.
A good at bat by Campbell advancing Lagares, but a nice play by Denard Span. From where we're sitting, it looked like Span may have opened up the wrong direction. But this ball had a little tail to it, and it came back right into Denard's glove. You see it kind of fading toward right center field. If that ball would have stayed straight, Denard would have had to make that sort of defensive back move that he makes sometimes, where he opens his hip to home plate, but he was going so fast right there, I don't know if he could have done it.
Huge at bat here. Lucas Duda, lefty, trying to give the Mets a 2-run lead. He has walked and scored. Infield in, ball one. And his second time up, he flared a base hit to left right in front of Bryce Harper. So good speed at third with one down. Ground ball right side. Not a contact play. And LaRoche, after checking the runner, will turn around and flip it to Cabrera.
Well, nice play by LaRoche. Good move by Matt Williams before he even had time to discuss the strategy right there. Duda rolling over the pitch. He brings his infield in. It works nice. Good heads up by Asdrubal Cabrera getting over there, too. Because LaRoche is thinking, contact play, I'm going home. Where's the runner? I don't see him. He's not going. He's holding. And now he's in no man's land, but Asdrubal heads up at first base, gives him the option for the out.
Travis d'Arnaud.
And quite frankly, with Juan Lagares' speed, I don't know why they didn't go contact play right there with one out. You're already up by one. And maybe they did, and he just got a bad read.
So Gio goes to work with heaters against Travis d'Arnaud. In a hurry, it's 0-2. Pretty healthy hack. Shows him the curveball that didn't do a whole lot, stayed out there. Aaron Barrett for the Nats. Gio started this inning, as I mentioned earlier, 64 pitches. His next one will be in the mid-80s now. Travis d'Arnaud looking hitterish tonight.
Quick bat.
Into the 9 o'clock hour at Citi Field in New York. Lengthy ball game. Pitchers battling. We've had about 180 pitches thrown in this game already, and a 4-3 Mets lead. Gio trying to keep it there, and the 92 is outside, counts even.
Might be fatiguing a little bit here in the fifth inning. The arm's starting to drop. Having trouble getting on top of that curveball and having trouble hitting the outside corner.
Gio threw 105 pitches in 6 innings last time out against the Phillies. Got him off speed Darno unable to get to the changeup. The one thing Gio's done well since the first inning, keeping the Mets from busting anything open. They could have had at least 2 there. So it's a 1-run game. Top 6 coming up. Action-filled ball game. First 5 innings at Citi Field. 4-3 Mets. Jeep takes us inside the numbers. And against the National League East this season, the Nats still 4 under against the Braves. Pretty even against the Marlins. Dominating the Mets and ended up 1 under against the Phils.
They've won 5 of their last 8 from the Braves too, so
that's good.
That shows you how that one started and how it's trending.
We'll know more next Wednesday. First pitch changeup. Nate Scherholtz, ball 1, 6th inning underway. Gio, by the way, is on deck. For those of you wondering, he's thrown 88 pitches. Changeup outside, ball 2. '89 tailing to the inner half. Nate Scherholtz has bounced into an error and struck out swinging tonight. And he lays off the high fastball. With Dylan G about to throw his 100th pitch, Carlos Torres for the Mets.
Pitch you can drive right here.
He does. Foul. Nats box. Single hits. First 2 innings, Rendon and Harper. Base runners galore. Stranded 5 runners in the first 2 innings. Roche, 3rd inning RBI. Another one for Ramos. And then Rendon, the game-tying home run, leading off the 5th. Scherholtz up the middle to his right, Herrera, and he drops it. That'll be the rookie's 4th error if they rule it that way. He's playing in his 13th big league game. They've given Nate Scherholtz a hit.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not a routine play. He's going up the middle on a backhand. Probably had to take a couple more steps before he throws it. And when you take into account that Nate Scherholtz can run, I thought it was a hit all the way.
They are really charging on Gio. With Eric Campbell about 20 feet away, he just decided not to bunt it at all.
I mean, you just pull back right there to scare him, if anything. Watch how close Campbell gets to Gio. That might be the closest I've seen a third baseman to a bunter all season long when it's all said and done. He was closer last pitch.
Yeah,
he was within, I don't know. Maybe he thought about his family after the first pitch.
See a shadow?
Look at right there. I mean, that's just too. You can overrun a bunt if you're that close. If Gio bunts it hard, it's past him. I've seen that happen before. You don't even have to pull back and go butcher boy. Just bunt the ball hard. Somebody in the Mets dugout must have told him easy.
Yeah. Now Gio bunts it straight back again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Down by a run, this stage of a ball game, got to get the bunt down. You give 2 of the best top of the order hitters in the league a chance to tie the game or more. And he goes stabbing at a breaking ball away and strikes out. 4th K of the night for Dylan G. PNC Bank with our minor league report for the achiever in you. Reynaldo Lopez, South Atlantic League Player of the Month for August with the Hagerstown Suns, and he went 3-0 with a microscopic ERA, 13 hits and 34 innings. Nobody could hit Reynaldo. By the way, they're behind 3-0 tonight.
Down 2-1 in the series.
Yeah.
Nate Sherholtz can steal a bag. And Terry Collins thinking the same thing.
Sherholtz swiped 4 with the Cubs in 8 attempts. Off speed. Denard Span takes it in the dirt. Darno popping up. Darno 14 for 62 this year. Not getting a ton of help from some young veteran Met pitchers. I mean, guys have been around for a couple of years. And that's just 23%. That's at the letters. A fastball, 1-1.
High strike to Span. It's not a pitch he likes to hit anyhow.
Yeah. Pitch number 108 coming from Dylan G. Good hitting room right side with Sherholtz being held. Denard will go the other way. He'll drop it right in front of Eric Young. First and second, 1 out. Here come the Nats. Top of the order. Cabrera, then Rendon.
Well, you don't know if Dylan G would have thrown Denard Span the same pitch had Gio got the bunt down, but Terry Collins coming out, and I think he's seen enough. Every once in a while, and that was the case right there, Denard Span swings, and it surprises me that it's so late. It's almost like, whoa, he swung. He takes it right out of the glove.
So Dylan G, a couple of months removed from that lat injury that had him on the DL, is out after 5 1/3. Here comes the right-hander, Carlos Torres.
Runners on first and second, one out. Head over to the MASN Nationals Facebook page for your chance to win an exclusive I Back the Nats prize pack. And Care First will back your community with a donation for participating. That's facebook.com/MASN Nationals for your chance to win.
Well, Carlos Torres lives with the fastball. This guy's got quite an arm. He's kind of a setup guy for the Mets. 64 games, 87 innings, 91 Ks.
He throws the cutter 50% of the time at 89. The two-seam fastball 36% of the time, and curveball change to go with it.
31-year-old right-hander made 9 starts for the Mets last year. 24 games out of the pen. Asdrubal Cabrera is 3 for 4 against him. They met when Torres used to pitch for the White Sox. So no mystery here. Guys were in the same division. And along with the 3 for 4, a double and a base on balls. Cabrera has driven in 15 runs as a Nat. Curveball low, 2-0.
Tejada's really holding Sherholtz on tight at second. I mean, he is really limited in his range right now.
And there's a one-hopper to the second baseman. Cabrera out on a close play at first. And we'll see if Matt Williams does anything about it. He's coming up the stairs, and we have been released to go to break. Well, Cabrera hits into the double play, and the Nats are gone. Great chance in the top of the 6th.
He's battling and trying to get himself a win. Get your tickets now for Saturday, September 27th. That's against the Miami Marlins. First 25,000 fans will receive this year's Fans Choice Tyler Clippard bobblehead. That's presented by PNC Bank.
Big sweeping curveball outside to Curtis Granderson. Led off the inning 2 innings ago and hit that high fly ball to center that dropped, but no runs given up. So Gio's at 90 pitches. Hard hit, and Cabrera right there.
Has there been a Screech bobblehead?
Not that I know of.
Because he needs some love. I mean, all the presidents have a bobblehead.
Yeah.
Tyler Clippard has 2 this year.
Yeah, they got to do him before the Gecko or the Sharknado or any of those.
Mr. Mets probably had 46 bobbleheads here in New York, and Screech hasn't had one, I don't think.
Mets box. D'Arnaud, the big blow of the first inning. 2-run double. An error made it a 3-run swing. And then Juan Lagares, the double in the 5th to put New York back on top after the Nats battle back. Dilson Herrera 0 for 2 with a pair of Ks.
He could do one with maybe a Marlin at his feet. And he's like pecking at it.
Well, the one he's trampled this year is Mr. Met.
Yeah, or you could put Mr. Met and have him pecking at that.
Bat to third, ball to second. 2 outs. Next up, Ruben Tejada.
Tell you what, it's been a gutty performance by Gio. Things really haven't gone his way. Few mistake here, few mistake there. I mean, it's not like he's really deserved the 4 runs he's given up, but he's fighting and trying to qualify for the win. That's why Matt Williams went with him this inning. Looked like he might have hit the wall last inning, but a couple of quick outs here in the 6th is nice.
Gio's gone at least 4 times in a row. One more out to do that for the 17th time this year. Pitcher spot next for the Mets, and that's Josh Satin.
And there has been a Screech bobblehead.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
2006. I guess okay is the best way to put it.
I must have been concerned with names and numbers at that time, my first year.
Bobblehead technology has come far since 2006.
Yeah, he kind of, well,
looks like a seagull.
He kind of looks like he flew into some live wires.
Looks like a seagull. Yeah, live wires.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Tejada, who has hit a fly ball on the ground out. 0 for 2. Swing and a miss. And if that's it for Gio, finishing well, retiring his last 6 batters. He'll be the pitcher of record when Rendon, LaRoche, and Desmond come up in the top of the 7th inning.
Of Alexandria. 4-3 Mets. And we're going to show you Anthony Rendon 6 for 8 in the series. 3 more knocks tonight. Started with a lousy single in the first. A booming double in the third. And that might have been foreshadowing of this. Home run number 20 for Anthony Rendon. Line drive variety. They'd look at it again. They didn't get it right the first time. Figured it out. So a single, double, homer for Rendon.
I know where you're going with that.
He's going to hit another homer.
He's 1 for 7 career with a walk against Carlos Torres, who stays in after getting the Cabrera double play ball. Atlanta still leads 1-0, 5th inning at Texas. That went right off the end of Anthony's bat. Must be some late movement by Torres. Darno set up away. And a count of 0-2.
It's a cutter.
Anthony Rendon, 2 more extra base hits tonight. 62 on the year. Only Jonathan Lucroy and Giancarlo Stanton have more. 91 cutting away. And that one bounced about 4 feet in front of home plate. Anthony Rendon batting .286 with his 3-for-3 tonight. As FP often notes, tough time of the year to add anything onto your batting average. Swing and a miss. It got away from him at the last second there. And Carlos Torres comes in, does a good job. He gets 3 quick outs. And it looks, at least for a while, like he'll stay in, even with LaRoche coming in here. Desmond, the next hitter. And now they'll take their third baseman, Eric Campbell. He'll run all the way across the infield into right field. Josh Edgin warms up. I think the Mets are down to 2 lefties in their bullpen. Heard today that Dana Evelin's pretty much been shut down for the season. So they've got Dario Alvarez and Josh Edgin. Pretty good snap on that curveball. It stayed outside.
Well, Torres has been good lately. Since August 14th, he's only given up 2 earned runs in 17 1/3. That's a 1.04 ERA, and he struck out 18.
Adam LaRoche against him, 1 for 6 career with a home run and a pair of walks.
But I don't care how good he's been. This is interesting strategy by Terry Collins, leaving a righty in a 1-run game to face the hot hitting LaRoche.
And this pitcher's given up 11 home runs this year out of the bullpen. He tails that one to the outer half, 2-1. And LaRoche got a breaking ball well off the plate. Couldn't hit it fair. So Adam, another good night. 2 walks around a 3rd inning RBI single. He's walked 77 times this year and driven in 86 runs. It's foul, stays alive. One out, 7th inning. And LaRoche stopped. It's ball 3.
Pretty good pitch, 94 miles an hour. He tried to backdoor the cutter. And Torres wanted it. Watch the reaction of Torres after you look at pitch track.
Could have gone either way. Mercedes-Benz pitch track shows. 3-2, and Adam LaRoche is aboard again. 4th time tonight.
You think they circled LaRoche today before the game and said, this guy has not beaten us? 3 walks and a single.
It might have been Sunday.
Yeah.
when they knew the Nats were coming in.
Well, he hit a home run yesterday, so they must not have circled him big enough.
Yeah. So Desmond 1 for 3 steps in. Eddie and Desmond 2 for 8 career against Torres with a double and a walk.
Wow, how about that? There will be no ambush steal. And that's all it really takes. Every time you see LaRoche steal, it's because nobody pays attention to him, and he gets a huge lead and just walks off the base.
Up and in. Desmond, last 2 times, has hit the ball the other way, once for a base hit and once for a ground ball that Terry Collins challenged. Thought it was a double play, but Desmond did beat the relay. So he goes that way again, and he's unlucky. Right at Herrera, and he can't beat that one out. Carlos Torres comes in the span of 4 hitters, throws 2 4-6-3 double play balls. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Hyundai. Freedom Tower standing tall in the Big Apple tonight. And as we stretch, the Mets.
Off on a Friday night.
It's a tight shot.
I'll give you nightmares all night long.
That's a real close-up.
Goodness. You don't have to see that if you sign up for this. 2015 Nats Plus memberships will offer experiences, rewards, anti-Mr. Met spray, exclusive opportunities for autographs. You go to the team store for discounts, too. Purchase full or half-season plans right now. Secure your tickets for the playoffs.
Nice job, crew. We just lost him for the rest of the weekend. Josh Satin, 1 for 7 career, and Gio Gonzalez is out there for a 7th inning. Matt Williams said before the game today, pretty much everybody available in the bullpen tonight. Drew Storms had 2 days off. Tyler Clippard only faced 1 batter last night. But Gio earning a shot to go 7 here. And delivers it in there.
I mean, it's part saving the bullpen, and part of Matt Williams is really appreciating the effort from Gio here tonight. And in a 1-run game, he wants him to stay in there long enough so that his offense picks him up and maybe gets him a win. And I don't think Matt would be doing that just because, oh, you know, he deserves it. He likes the fight in Gio tonight. And he likes the fact that he's simply got good stuff.
2-2 the count to Josh Satin. 0 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year. And he just gets a piece of that ball diving. Fastball away, 3-2. Top of the order, Young and Lagares next. Pretty much everything away here. And a busted bat. Gio down, makes the play, and the throw to LaRoche. Got rid of it in a hurry.
Great play by Gio Gonzalez. You talk about an athletic play for a pitcher. Watch this. Maybe thought it was hit a little bit more firm, but a backhand to his seat and calmly flips it to Adam LaRoche. This will give you a great shot of it. That was headed for the middle. Gio Gonzalez just took a hit away.
Squared up nicely for the throw, didn't he?
Didn't need to. Nice play. Real nice.
Top of the order, Eric Young Jr. 2 for 3, 2 runs scored.
That one play right there kind of is Gio's night in a nutshell of how he's been battling.
In there with 91. On the edge with 91.
Well, that one looked outside. Might have caught a break.
Eric Young doesn't like it.
Yeah, he didn't like the call. He's talking to Paul Emmel, but I thought this was outside. Gio will definitely take it.
And that'll have a hitter swinging at anything close out there. Another busted bat. Desmond's got the angle. So behind Rendon, he'll take it for the second out.
All right, time for your AT&T fan photo, your favorite part of every broadcast. And look at that. I call those Zimmer women.
You know what? There's only one of those three people, though, that are looking at the pitch.
Well,
I like the guy's chances in the middle to get a hit.
I like the leg kick. Good form, good stance. Zimmer women. Maybe they got some runs in them next innings. See.
Well, the infield's going to converge on Gio and salute him for a hard-fought job well done. He will retire his last 8 batters. And it'll be Juan Lagares for the Mets and Aaron Barrett for the Nats. Juan Lagares will come in, and Aaron Barrett will face him for the second time. 0 for 1 against the Bear earlier this year.
Yeah, mid-90s fastball, slider, changeup to go with it. And even though Gio Gonzalez gave up 4 runs tonight, I can't tell you how impressed I was with his fight. Stuff was good, fight was better.
110 pitches, 76 strikes, and one of those runs unearned. He's got his team in a position to come back and grab this one. First two Mets hitters have been on base 4 times and have scored 3 runs tonight. Lagares hit by a pitch and an RBI double. And a ball well hit to right on a 92 fastball. Lagares with 2 outs, a running threat. He has stolen 12 out of 16. Next up, Eric Campbell.
Well, Lucas Duda on deck. This will be Aaron Barrett's last hitter, whether he gets him out or not.
Yeah, Blevins for Duda.
Wilson Ramos walking out to the mound, and this is nothing but buying time for Jerry Blevins. I've always wondered if pitchers knew that.
Depends on how interesting the catcher
and here
can make
comes
it.
Steve McCaddy right behind him, buying time for Jerry Blevins. And, you know, he probably knows, hey, this is your last hitter. Here's what we're going to do. We'll see you in the dugout in a few pitches. Execute the game plan.
By the way, one more note on Gio as he has departed tonight. With his 6 2/3, he's now pitched more innings as a National than he did in his Oakland career. So more of a Nat now than an Athletic. And Anthony Rendon has a couple of extra base hits tonight, leads all infielders in the league. Right now it's all about Barrett and Campbell. They've not faced each other until this moment. Runner at first, 2 outs. And Barrett drops 92 in there. Then the slider. Good job by Ramos to keep a speedy runner from advancing.
See, I still think players need to look for that pitch. I mean, you know, once Aaron Barrett gets strike one, he's going to the slider. And if you're out first base and you don't get the steal sign, there's nothing left to do except for look down angle of an off-speed pitch. You can see that thing going in the dirt if you follow it with your eyes before it even gets there. And if you're looking for it, that's an easy advance for Lagares.
Another slider, 2-1. Runner goes. Pitch is out of play.
That bag was stolen too.
Yep,
Wilson Ramos had none chance of throwing him out. That was a great jump. I mean, watch this jump. Didn't even look in. Well, he definitely had that stolen. Nats catch a break with a foul ball.
Fastball away. Ramos drops it as he was trying to make the exchange. And for Juan Lagares, his 13th of the year. It's a big 90 feet.
Well, Nats gamble right here by not throwing over, thinking they're going to let Aaron Barrett concentrate on strike 3. And you understand the thinking with 2 strikes. But once that pitch misses, now Lagares in scoring position.
Slider struck him out. Eric Campbell frozen on a nasty hook from Aaron Barrett. So here we go, top 8. Bryce Harper, Wilson Ramos, Nate Schierholtz ahead for Washington. Land Rover retailers. Visit DCAreaLandRover.com for special lease and finance offers. And by Navy Federal Credit Union. 4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union. Matson Chopper with dramatic shots of the island of Manhattan tonight. Beautiful night to fly. Jeurys Familia for the Mets as this one moves into the top of the 8th inning.
That big fastball, 96 miles an hour. Got to get him in the zone. Slider, 86. Throws an occasional changeup at 90. Big arm. Having a big season for the Mets. Giving up 2 earned runs in his last 10 games. That's 9 2/3 for a 1.86 ERA. And he leads the team with 19 holds.
Yeah, their closer, Henry Mejia. Bryce Harper against Familia. Career 0 for 2. He has struck him out both times.
.97 right out of bed. Bryce asking if it was a strike. The slider from Familia is good, but it's really all about his tailing 96, 97 mile an hour fastball.
Harper not able to commit until it was too late, and he strikes out. Nissan will track it.
Might have been the slider at 90. The slider this year averages 86, but that one down and into Bryce, and he can't hold up. Looking fastball all the way.
Wilson Ramos facing Familia for the first time. 1 for 3 with an RBI hit tonight. .97 tailing back in. Wilson Ramos' last home run against Joe Beimel at Seattle. And the 88 foul tipped.
I've been tinkering with his stance. A little more open than usual, a little more upright than usual. And when you think about it, it might have been his last fly ball. He's hit tons of ground balls lately.
Yeah.
And that just means he's kind of coming around it.
Tyler Clippard, if the Nats can take the lead here.
And by coming around it, I mean kind of casting your hands out. We always talk about hands inside the ball. When you cast your hands out toward the first baseline first, it makes for a long swing.
And he commits to the breaking ball. Home plate umpire called him out. Nats watching from the dugout third base side. The Mets didn't even need to appeal. Number 8 hitter Nate Scherholtz. Scherholtz 1-for-1 career with a single against Jeurys Familia.
2 nasty sliders with 2 strikes.
Kevin Franzen. Kevin Franzen 0-for-1 career against Familia. Danny Espinosa 0-for-2. So at least for now, Matt Williams showing a right-handed batter as opposed to a switch hitter.
Franzen's been hot.
He has.
Starting off the bench.
And a ball pulled. Nate Scherholtz has a base hit, his second in a row tonight. And that'll get Franzen into the box with 2 outs, 8th inning.
Well, tough assignment for Franzen, but first things first, Nate Scherholtz doing a nice job right there. Got an upper 90s fastball, turns it around, pulls it through the hole, so he turns a 0-for-2 into a 2-for-4. And you're wondering if he's thinking about stealing right here. Tony Tarasco in his ear, telling him what he needs to know about Familia and his move and his times to home.
Well, Kevin is really good at taking the ball the other way. He gets some extra help here with the runner on, because it's tough to pull this guy.
Look where Herrera's playing. He's playing Franzen all the way up the middle. He basically has the whole right side of the infield to hit. Look at that.
He's giving him 90 feet between Herrera and Duda. Good take on a slider that looked like a strike for a while.
And I'm going to tell you why. As a young player, you first go around the big leagues as second baseman, the last thing you want to do is be too far away for the steal, meaning you're going to get to the bag late. So a lot of time young players will cheat towards second base, put themselves out of position so that they can cover second on the steal. And I think that's why he's that close.
And I was told today that he was the one who was supposed to be covering the bag on that confusing play last night when Bartolo Colon threw it to the bag and neither middle infielder was in position to catch it and make an out.
He's almost in a shift.
Franzen, and that was right at the knees evidently, and the count goes to 1-2. Pitch track.
Man, I don't think Franzen loved the call. He thought it was low.
Time to battle, and a guy who's good at that. Nats have out-hit the Mets 10-7 tonight. They've stranded 8 base runners. They've lost 2 on double plays. How often do you see a reliever come into the game, as Torres did, and throw 2 double play balls? It happened to end the 6th and the 7th. In fact, there was a double play earlier in the night as well by the starter. Franzen has to just reach, make some contact, and the Nats are gone in the 8th inning. Tejada to Herrera, so that's 9 runners stranded tonight. Bullpen has to keep it a 1-run game. Top of the order for the Nats in the ninth. Doug Fister for the Nats. He's beaten the Mets twice this year, hasn't given them a run in 14 innings. He'll be looking for number 14. And here's Zach Wheeler, 10-9. Nats have beaten him 2 out of 3 times. Coverage begins 6:30. Nats Extra on Masson. We'll join you from the booth at 7 o'clock and first pitch at 7:10. Matt Williams Ball Club in that best record chase. Right now the Nats in a little bit of an advantage over the Dodgers. And by the way, they're about to play the Giants this weekend. St. Louis ahead in their ball game, 4-1 at home against Colorado. Funny about the West, the Giants, second place team, a better record than the leader in the Central. Jerry Blevins and Lucas Duda, who's 0 for 1 career, against him. And a pop-up will be out of play over to the left side.
Still 1-0 in Texas. But the Rangers have runners at first and third. Nobody out as you look at the arsenal for Jerry Blevins.
Fastball is up and in at 91.
We've done a nice job against left-handers this year. You know, he's been put in some positions against right-handers, you know, early in the season where they did some damage. But it, you know, as far as being a situational guy getting out lefties, he's been as good as it gets.
Right in there. And the Rangers have just tied things on an RBI ground ball. And Jerry Blevins takes care of Lucas Duda for the first out, 8th inning.
Nice curveball right there. Started right at him. And I think that was the pitch that Gio was trying to execute against Duda his second time up, or maybe even his first time when he walked him. Like I said, a nice outing from Gio, though. Gutty performance, kept his team in the game.
6 2/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. 4 runs total, a walk, 7 Ks, 110 pitches. Travis d'Arnaud, the big hit of the night for the Mets way back in the first inning.
And I think the sneaky play, if you want to put it that way, of the night was Eric Young Jr. coming out swinging at the first pitch of the game, getting a base hit and putting Gio Gonzalez right in the stretch. He had no time to get his wind-up mechanics locked in, no rhythm for a ball game. All of a sudden you got a base stealer on in one pitch and you're in the stretch. Mets scored 3 in the first.
Yeah, and he was 0 for 10 career against Gio coming into that at bat. So he said, I'm not letting him get ahead. He had struck out 5 of those 10 times. And then later he got the infield hit leading off the 5th and scored on the Lagares double. Doing what a leadoff guy's supposed to do. Blevins and d'Arnaud matching up for the first time. And Travis a little overeager, might have been ball 3. Now we arrive at the 10 o'clock hour. Citi Field in New York, where the Mets have not beaten the Nationals in a long, long time. The equivalent of about a year and a half's worth of games on this field. 12 straight. Staying away, and another swing and a miss, strike 2.
See if they go with that fastball away again to d'Arnaud. That's the pitch that Gio struck him out with in the 5th.
Blevins bolts the outside corner, 2 down. Perfect fastball.
We can tell when a guy's not picking up the pitch away, and d'Arnaud has shown that he's going to chase a ball on the outer half, and now Blevins just paints a strike. Might have been thinking about something softer, but he locked him up with 91 on the black. Great pitch. Good execution of the game plan.
Curtis Granderson. And these two know each other from the American League. 2 for 12 against Blevins. It is so hard to stay in there against that.
Boy, he buckled him. I mean, he's a crossfire guy, stepping toward the first base dugout, throwing across his body. And then you had that big curveball in there. That's why lefties don't pick him up.
And he goes with the fastball upstairs and gets a check swing. Carving up a left-handed batter. Jerry Blevins, one of his best innings of the year. Strikes out the side. It'll be Denard Span as Drupal Cabrera. Anthony Rendon, top of the ninth ahead in a one-run game.
We head to the top of the ninth, just like we promised you earlier in the game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Juan Lagares back in the fifth inning. Took a Gio Gonzalez changeup, hit it down left field corner, and Eric Young Jr. off to the races. Big bat flip from Lagares. Eric Young celebrating in the dugout, and that's been the difference so far. 4-3 Mets.
Henry Mejia has 25 saves for the Mets. He has blown 3 saves. But he's had a 5.29 ERA since the 1st of August. He's the youngest ever Met at the age of 24 to have 25 saves in a season.
Well, he's going to have to earn this one. It's a one-run job, and it's the top of the Nats order. Denard Span about to lead it off against the fastball, slider, curveball, change combination from Mejia. Fastball averages 93.
And Denard Span career 1 for 5 against him.
Well, this is everything right here. One-run game, your leadoff hitter gets on. Look out.
And he gets 93 running to the outer edge.
Going right to the change.
Yeah, really turning that thing over. 88. Mejia 15 saves since the All-Star break. That's tied for the most in the National League.
Yeah, pretty good changeup once again. You see the late fade to it. He's got, kind of falls off to the first base side. And then the ball goes the other direction. So you talk about Jerry Blevins being a crossfire. This guy just flies open, and there's all kinds of stuff going everywhere.
Denard Span in a 1-2 battle here. It's been on twice tonight.
See, those are the swings I'm talking about, where you're thinking he's taking the pitch, and then last second he just takes it right out of the catcher's glove. His hit in the 6th was just like that, where his swing is so short and late, allows him to see the ball a tick longer than most hitters.
And Span to left center. A base hit, his 2nd of the night. Tying runs aboard in the 9th inning. And that's the 55th time this year Denard Span's had at least 2 hits in a game.
Well, you know it's coming. Denard Span, nice job of staying on that changeup, flipping it out there, and Lagares had a beat on it. Watch this. He's playing him shallow, and he's thinking about going for it, but he thought better. If he dives for it, it's a triple, maybe more. Game on.
It'll bring in Anthony Rendon, Cabrera, then Rendon. And Cabrera 0 for 1 career against the right-hander.
Well, if you bunt Cabrera right here, you're pitching to LaRoche, because they will, you would think, be careful with Rendon. I don't think they'll walk Rendon. But this is where if you're Matt Williams, you got him with a good sacrifice bunt. You'll get your guy up to the plate. They'll probably pitch carefully, Rendon. It'll be interesting to see the strategy, but first things first, see if he's bunting.
Eric Campbell just onto the grass. He's not bunting. And that ball hit him in the foot, so it's a foul.
The most popular way to follow the Nationals' push to the postseason is with MLB.com app, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.TV game of the day, and more. Get app for your smartphone or your tablet on the App Store or visit MLB.com.
The Nationals have 11 hits tonight. They've stranded 9 base runners, lost 3 more on double plays. Trying to get 1 around here to tie things up. Cabrera, no sign of squaring around now. Third baseman Campbell can back up on an 0-2 count.
Well, the reason you don't bunt here, if you're Williams, you probably don't want to play for the tie on the road. You want to play for the win. And you also have a stolen base opportunity with Span at first base that you can go to instead of the sacrifice if things don't work out right here. The last sinker was dirty, by the way. 93 with tons of movement.
And Cabrera able to stay alive.
He wants that one back. Got a hanging slider at 86. Stayed up. And you see the frustration. He got his pitch. Now he's really going to have to fight. I mean, got his pitch to do some serious damage.
And the 0-2 hit out to left center. He's got some carry on it. Eric Young Jr. right in front of the 370 mark makes the catch. Well, the breeze blowing in pretty stiffly from center field did not help that ball at all.
This ball was touched by Cabrera. Another big at-bat in a big situation. You see the extension right there, and he's wondering if he got him. Eric Young Jr. playing a no-doubles defense, meaning he's playing deeper than deep so that nothing can be hit over his head. Tracked it nicely. I always talk about you be okay with Asdrubal Cabrera up in a big situation. That's a perfect example. Another good at-bat. I thought it was at least off the wall, and I think he did too.
Well, here's Anthony Rendon, who's 0 for 2 career against Mejia, having a huge night, 3 for 4. Span started, then stopped about a fourth of the way to second base.
If that's the only move that Mejia has, I mean, it advantaged Denard Span regardless of his time to the plate. Maybe that's just a token throw over and he has a better one in his back pocket, but if he doesn't, that allows me as a base stealer to get an even bigger lead.
Well, Drew Storen here. So you figure Tyler Clippard if the Nationals tie it. Storen certainly if they take the lead. And as we mentioned, bullpen pretty fresh. Storen hasn't pitched in the last 2 games. Span running, pitch outside, and he rips it. And that's number 30 for Denard Span.
That's the value of a stolen base. We talk about it all the time. Guys can have the numbers, whatever their numbers are, stealing. When it's a one-run ball game in the 9th inning and everybody in the ballpark knows you're going and you steal a base, that's a stolen base. And that's what separates the elite guys from guys that just put up numbers. I mean, Mets knowing he's going, he's knowing he's going, they still can't throw him out. That was clutch. And you're thinking green light here.
Rendon takes one right down the middle.
Pretty good way to get number 30, wouldn't you say?
That was pretty dramatic right there. Rendon made it to the 80 RBI mark tonight. Does he have one more in him to get this thing even?
That's the first time Denard Span has ever stole 30 bases. Congratulations, and it might turn out to be a big one.
His previous high 26, 20 with the Nats last year.
Great arm in center field. You can run on the corners. Hanley won't hesitate with Granderson, won't hesitate with Young, no matter how hard it's hit.
Rendon can't get to it. 86 slider away. 2 down.
I think this slider got Rendon because it didn't do as much as he thought. Just kind of spun up there, acted more like a changeup. Rendon geared up for 93, 94, got the slider. Big out for Mejia.
Well, Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, out. Adam LaRoche waiting. And these two have faced each other 4 times. Bob Guerin alongside Terry Collins in the dugout. And I'm sure they know LaRoche is 0 for 4. Mejia has struck him out 3 of those 4 times. But I'm not sure he's ever faced him when Adam's been locked in like this. 3 walks and an RBI single tonight. Then it comes down to the Nationals, along with Rendon, hottest hitter. against the Mets closer.
Interesting.
Tried to bring it around from the outside. It stayed out there.
That's where you think, are they pitching around me? They're going to challenge me? I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever he's got. You throw anything over the white part of that plate, I'm on it.
Lays off the breaking ball, down and in, 2-0.
Well, they're pitching around him now. But if you're LaRoche, you still can't think that. You got to think, yeah, they're pitching around me. They might hang one.
'24-year-old closer for the Mets.
And you're wondering if a 24-year-old has the wherewithal to execute this game plan they want him to. I mean, if you stand up and walk him, you're opening yourself up to criticism because you're putting the winning run on base. But you also have a young pitcher out there that you're hoping doesn't leave one out over the plate if you're Terry Collins.
3-0. Nothing but breaking balls so far.
And Ian Desmond knows exactly what's going on right now in the on-deck circle. Trust me.
Ian does have 2 career hits against Mejia in 7 at-bats.
Now they're going to walk him.
There we go. Adam LaRoche walked for the 4th time tonight.
Ian Desmond has hit the ball on the screws 3 times tonight. Bullet his first time up to third. Base hit in the 3rd inning. And hit a screamer for a 4-6-3 double play to Herrera to end the 7th. So he's barreled up some baseballs tonight. He has to be feeling confident about his swing.
Yeah, the great thing about it is he's been staying on the ball.
Perfect pitch. 94 with some cut on the black. Good take.
Great take. Counts even. No swing on the appeal.
Just teasing the outside of the plate. 2 cutters away. 1 darted the spot for strike 1. And now he tries to expand with the slider, and fish ain't biting. I think Ian knows what the game plan is. This is what the Mets have been doing to him all night. Everything away.
That's a slider to the outside edge. And a crowd of 25,000, 792 coming to their feet here.
2 perfect strikes for Mejia. I mean, you can't run him up there and set him in a better spot. They just clip the outside corner. And you don't want to offer at those until you get the 2 strikes. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to expand away even further with the slider right here. He can't watch. I know how you feel, buddy.
Desmond, a swing and a miss, and the game is over. Nats trying to battle back from behind all night long and not able to get it done right at the end.
I'll tell you what, that celebration by Mejia just got Ian Desmond's attention, Denard Span's attention, and Bryce Harper's attention. And they were all looking out there. And you better be careful who you wake up. That's all I'll say.
Mets hold on to win it. Well, he's 24. He'll figure it out someday. That's a little too much.